Welcome to SkyDemon. These videos are designed both as an introduction to SkyDemon and to help even advanced users discover tips and tricks for getting the most out of their subscriptions. Today, we'll cover planning some simple flights in SkyDemon, including modifying your route to take account of airspace and other hazards you'd like to go around. The quickest way to get started planning a route in SkyDemon is to touch consecutive waypoints on the map. Let's say we want to fly from Compton Abbas down to Exeter. We touch Compton Abbas first, then we'll go to King's Stag, then Crewkerne, Axminster, and finally Exeter. Touch once more on an empty part of the map to indicate you've finished adding waypoints. Perhaps you'd rather create your route as a straight line from A to B and then modify it until you're happy with it. To do this, open the Route menu and select Create Route. First, you have to specify your takeoff airfield, which you do by typing its name or identifier, or you can choose your home airfield or any nearby airfields, as they'll be pre-populated into the list. We're going to fly from Exeter. Click on the airfield to continue. Next, you have to specify your landing airfield. We will choose Newquay. Click on it to continue. Once you've specified your takeoff and landing airfields, press Create Route and your route will be created. Now that we have a route planned, it's a good time to talk about Virtual Radar. This is the section at the bottom of the screen which shows a profile of your planned route. You can see how close you will be to terrain and obstacles and which pieces of airspace you're going to penetrate or fly close to. In this route, for example, we can see that around 21 miles into the flight, we will penetrate a piece of red airspace. Just like the main map, we can touch and hold a finger to bring up the What's Here menu. We can see that this is a danger area. Another thing you can do in the Virtual Radar is to double tap your finger at any point on the route, which will scroll the main map to that position. Whether you've planned your route by touching the map or by using the Create Route screen, you will usually want to adjust it afterwards. We can see that our route passes through a danger area laterally by looking at the main map, and as we've seen in Virtual Radar, we're also passing through it vertically. You can treat any leg of your route as a rubber band and grab it with your finger and move it to another waypoint to route via that waypoint. I've changed our route so that we now have two legs turning at Princetown, and we no longer have to worry about flying into the danger area. If I look a bit further along the Virtual Radar, I can see there's a parachute drop zone at Bodmin, which we're flying a little close to. I'm going to route up here to avoid it. You may have noticed that one of our legs is showing red in the Virtual Radar. That means our planned altitude for that leg is lower than the minimum safe altitude. I can immediately see that's because of this mast. You can set your own thresholds for how the minimum safe altitude is calculated by opening the Setup menu and choosing Planning Options. I'm happy with the default options. The easiest way to change the planned altitude for a leg is to drag it up and down in Virtual Radar. I'm going to fly this leg at 3,500 feet to avoid the obstacle by a comfortable margin. I'm now happy with this route, but let's clear it so I can show you something else. To clear your route and start again, open the Route menu and choose Start Again. Let's try creating a more complicated route, and I'll show you the warnings that are available to you in SkyDemon. We will fly from Bournemouth up to Gloucester. Pull open the Flight Details tab on the right. This is where the main settings for your planned route are, such as the cruise level and which aircraft you'll be using, and it's also where you'll be warned about things like airspace. You can see that we're going to penetrate no less than 3 danger areas. Touch the binoculars and SkyDemon will show you the area on the map. I'm going to grab the route and fly to the west of these areas. And you can see the warnings have disappeared. Now it looks like we're going to fly through this restricted area up here, but if you look down in Virtual Radar, you can see we're flying comfortably above that area. That leaves us with one more warning about the Solent CTA. Let's have a look at that piece of airspace by touching the binoculars. Okay, so it's quite large. If I bring up the What's Here menu in Virtual Radar, I can see it extends upwards from 2,000 feet. So what I need to do is grab the first leg of our route and insert a turning point into it, just as we've done before, only this time I'm not going to route by named town or waypoint, just an unnamed point in space. Now that our first leg has been divided into two, I will drag the first half down to 1,900 feet. So we remain clear of the Solent CTA. Then we'll climb once we're sure it's no longer above us. You've seen how to insert new turning points in your route, but what about deleting them? Let me create another one, here. The easiest way to remove it again is to simply drag it on top of one of its neighbouring turning points. There, it's disappeared. Now that we have a route we're happy with, how can SkyDemon give us the calculations we need to fly it? You may have noticed at the top of the screen, SkyDemon has been keeping us updated with the distance of the route and how long it's going to take. It knows how long it's going to take because it knows what the wind is forecast to be doing all around the world and at all different altitudes. We'll cover SkyDemon's weather features in a separate tutorial. What if you want to know the distance of an individual leg, or how long you'll spend flying it, or what heading you'll be flying? Simply touch a leg to reveal this information. It disappears again after a few seconds to keep the display looking clean. All this information is available, and much more, in the pilot log up here on the toolbar. This gives you all the information you should need to actually make the flight and can easily be printed off. As well as the headings you'll need to fly, it includes your minimum safe altitudes for each leg, the level and speed you've selected for each leg, and also the en route frequencies you're likely to want to use. You can customize your plug, if you wish, by turning on and off the various columns that are available. When you're done looking at the plug, press the back button to return to the main screen. Finally, you'll want to save your planned flight and perhaps share it with any friends who are coming with you. Open the route menu and you'll see two options to save. Save As lets you save the route on this device, and Save to Cloud lets you save it to your personal SkyDemon cloud on the internet so that you can open it from the cloud on another device. Use the Share option to share it via AirDrop or email. That's it for this tutorial. I hope you found it useful, and if you haven't already, I would encourage you to create some routes in SkyDemon.